Wow.
Well, listen. Coming to you live from Girls Night In.
Girls Night In.
Oh my God, let's show off our cocktails.
For the visual learners.
For the visual learners, we went refined for today because I am hosting two friends, one of them being Nick. Cheers, you bitch.
Sorry, I got thirsty.
Wow.
Cheers.
It's your second one already, too. So, girl, you're in for a trip.
We are feeling it.
And it's going to be fun. Love hosting. Except I don't really do it often. Because I'm just so busy and I'm just so packed.
Right, your schedule is just like so back to back. It's like you don't have time for it.
No, but now, as I famously told Nick, and I'm famously telling the town people right now, I am kind of depressed right now. So tell them what I forced you to do for today, Nick.
No, we can't talk about that.
Oh, we can't?
Girl, we can't talk about that.
Oh my God. Like, any of those people are going to come after you.
Girl, we're just going to cover our bases and be fine.
Wow. Well,
but
anyway.
Just know that I was forced to do something that was not necessarily against my will, but in order to make things happen for this evening, let's just say certain things had to be done. Mm-hmm. And so that's all we're going to say, and we're going to move on from that. Thank you very much.
I'm Pioneer Peru.
I'm Trailblazer Nick, and this is Pioneers and Trailblazers. What a fucking week this has been.
Oh my God, full of developments. Then, by the way, are full-on continuations from last episode. So this is becoming like a narrative. It has a narrative, this podcast, unintentionally so.
Right, well, the narrative of our lives.
Well, of course.
That's what it is.
But I mean, very specifically so. But we are here at my place. We're actually going to be cooking some dinner. Well, not we. I'm going to cook. Maybe I'll have them help a little bit. I've actually never seen you, like, in the kitchen, like, I've never seen you, like, do any other human activity besides, like working, eating, and just being a fag. Like, I haven't seen you done others. Like, I've never seen you, like, clean. I've never seen you, like,
you see me take out the trash?
Like,
you see me take out the trash? That's cleaning.
Yeah, I guess that is cleaning. But, so I've never seen you, like, cook or anything.
Sure, be domestic is
yeah,
what you're trying to say.
Domestic is exactly. So today's domesticity.
Sure, I'm domestic as fuck.
You told me you had a story about like a dinner.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this evening, because we're coming together to help Peru through this tough emotional time that.
Okay, I mean, I'm having a dinner, but I mean, also yes. I mean, am I depressed? Yes, but also.
But I think we should follow it after you give your town hall update about Mr. Coffee, because it's my story is about a boy, and so it's being
the dinner thing,
being depressed about a boy.
Well, okay. Listen, now maybe we got things twisted, Arena, because.
Well, no. But I'm just saying, like you're a little bit depressed for other reasons, and then this I think is contributing a little bit.
I guess very true. So I guess to catch everyone up, last week I alluded to having like a date, which is not necessarily unusual for me, but the coffee date aspect for me was pretty unusual, and
it's not rare for me to get asked out on a date. Everybody, okay, people want to ask me out on dates. That's what you sound like. That's what you sound like right now.
I didn't tell you, and I'll show you this message on Grindr to prove that I'm right, because sometimes I say stuff and then Nick doesn't believe me. But. Today on Grindr, I got asked out to go out to Titanic tonight.
Wow.
This guy was like, hey, like, I have an extra ticket to Titanic. Would you like to come with me as my date? And I was like, oh my God, I totally would, but I have dinner night with the girls.
Could you imagine it? You'd have been like, yes! And then you text all of us. You're like, actually, not happening tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, guys, so I got some ingredients. Feel free to go to my apartment. I'll tell my roommates that like y'all
can hang, but I'm gonna be at Titanic. Bye.
So I chose to be, again, a chick before dick. The guy's visiting from Tennessee, it seems like.
Was he cute?
He was cute. Yeah, I'll show you pics. But so these things keep happening to me. No, just kidding. But so I was pretty excited, and I was kind of like trepidatious about going on the coffee date aspect of it, because I don't like coffee dates. But it ended up being it was one of the best first dates that I've had in a while. And to be honest, I don't even want to walk through what occurred, because like I'm still kind of just like bummed and pissed about it, that I'm just like, the only thing I will say 3 things. Okay? So you count. I'm only allowed to say 3 things about this date. Okay? All right. Number one.
Okay, we're on number 1.
The person uses Apple Maps.
I use Apple Maps, so that's...
Red flag.
Okay. That's not a red flag for me, but...
Red flag.
Moving on.
Please, if you are... Oh, actually, oh my God. What's it called? Call to action. CTA. Call to action. If you're listening to this, comment down below what you use. And we'll make this a poll, too, for the Spotify thing. Are you an Apple Podcast girl or are you a Google guy? Most of the
Apple
people...
Maps. You said Apple Podcast.
Oh, Apple... Or whatever. Just Apple in general. Apple or Google.
I prefer Apple Maps just because it's the preloaded app on my phone. Why would I download another app that's gonna take up more storage space on my very limited storage spaced phone?
Well, first of all, just because you have something doesn't mean you cannot upgrade, honey. That's called life. Just because you have something doesn't mean.
But she's reliable. I've never had. I mean, sometimes there are glitches with Ms. Apple Maps, but I've heard about the similar glitches with Ms. Google Maps. So it's like, you pick and choose. There are certain things. There's give and take. Okay. There are pros and cons to each.
Sure. I will say, now I don't want to throw the other girly dolls under the bus, but I do know some of the shout out, like Alex. Hi, Alex. Robert, Spencer. But Tommy. I believe John uses Apple Maps, and that is something that I take with me, and I
support.
I befriend him in spite of that.
I support her.
Anyway, so that's that. So I knew when I got a screen grab from his location, I was like, oh, he uses Apple Maps. So I was just like, I guess during my wedding vows, I'm going to be like, even though you use Apple Maps. And the crowd goes like,
and then you woke up.
Damn bird. 2. We're both dog owners.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Mama Girl Mr. shows up to the date with the dog.
Oh, he brought the dog?
Did I not tell you this?
No.
Oh. He has... Oh, you incited something in Miss Clover.
I'm so sorry. Relax. Lay down, babe.
Yeah.
Lay down.
He has a King Charles. It's the dog, for those Sex and the City fans, the dog that Charlotte had. Elizabeth Taylor.
Mm.
He had that dog. And... when I first saw it, he was actually not a small one. It was like a more medium-sized one, which I liked more because sometimes I feel like with tiny dogs, gays and tiny dogs. I'm sorry, clipping this for socials. Gays and tiny dogs.
Okay.
it's just like bottoms who tap other bottoms on Grindr. It's annoying. It's annoying.
Get a bigger dog. You're a man. That's basically what you're saying.
I don't know, whatever. But.
Clipping for socials. If you're gonna be a man, you have to have a big dog. Little dogs for women. We're bringing back this gender binary.
Please. So, at first I was like, oh no, don't tell me he's gonna be one of those gays that carries the dog everywhere, and it's just like, okay, Missy Moo, here it is.
I have never run into a person like that. Besides, maybe at work.
At work, when these gays show up with their tiny dogs, and the girlies too.
I see that it's mostly the girlies that I've run into or seen, but I never. Maybe it's just because I refuse to associate with people like that.
Well, yeah, we have to just by obligation.
Because I just think we wouldn't connect. I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm not ready to be a mother in the same way that you are. And
I still like the guys that bring their dogs. I just don't like it when they make the dog an extra person. Does that make sense? The dog shouldn't be the fifth joiner, at the brunch for 4.
Wait, you shouldn't be third wheeling the dog.
It's it becomes all about the dog thing. It's just oh my god,
isn't he so cute?
Yeah, and my dog is cute. Miss Clover is great. But also when I bring Clover out, which is why I don't bring him out to restaurants often, unless he's tired, he won't lay down. He'll just stay like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Clover, relax. He's like, nope, not gonna relax.
She said, hand me a Xanax quick.
Hand me a Xanax quick. Anyway. But then it ended up turning out fine. He wasn't obsessed with the dog, and everyone did stop by, and the dog was indeed very cute, so everyone kept stopping by, but he didn't make it such a huge deal. It was very much nice, so that was nice.
Sure.
So I guess that's the third thing I guess I will say about this date to move on from it is that the connection was there and very palpable, and the affection was affectioning, meaning we were kissing. There was a lot of putting arm around me and patting. So there were clear signs of like interest and attraction.
Sure.
And so then now we're in a position where like this person, I don't know what's up with them, but not responding, and then respond awkwardly. And then I had that one instance in which I'm probably going to have to like block this episode because we still follow each other.
Okay.
But you know what? Actually, you know what? Fuck off. Like, if you're not going to communicate like an adult, then don't fucking take me on a date or go on a date, you know? Learn communication skills. We're not like 18 anymore. Now we're 21.
Right.
So anyway, like everything was great. So like the signals were there, the attraction was there, the interest was there. But then like when it came down to being like, hey, let's go on another date. When does it work for you? This day, this, nothing. Crickets, nothing, and loosely followed up, and just very much make some other questionable behavior that, you know, that's just strictly off pod. But anyway, so I was very disappointed at how that turned out because I was very happy. Happy.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, across the city, Miss Nick.
Well, to circle back to the story I was going to tell about getting together when a friend is depressed in high school. To circle back so in high school, I was a freshman in high school.
Oh, you said the only time you ever had like a
yeah. So the only time that like, I mean, this wasn't the only time, but like me and the girlies like getting together to like help someone in need. Girl, we got usurped by a different bitch. So what happened was, I was a freshman in high school. It was homecoming season, and the boy that I had no, literally, and it was the boy that I had a crush on, who at that point had a crush on since 8th grade, which was like a full year before, and he was like really flirty with me, and I was like, oh my god, he wants me so bad. He asked me out. He like asked me to homecoming, and I'm telling you right now, I can understand. I know when someone is like doing like a bit and like doing a joke. And like being serious, and he was 100% serious. Asked me to like homecoming, like, would you want to go? It was very casual, and mind you, I went to a Catholic school.
What? This is really forward.
No, but like the way he did.
Is this a Carrie moment?
No, well, kind of. Not really. No, but what happened was no. It's not bad, but basically, I think, because we were so flirty with each other all of the time, and like that was just like our dynamic back and forth, he like had asked me to homecoming, and I was like, oh my god. And like the way that he said it, like I could tell he was being kind of like, he was being serious, but obviously like wasn't gonna really happen because we went to a Catholic school and we're two boys, and like he wasn't out, and like I didn't have to be because everyone just knew. And then but there were people
he wasn't out either because everyone knew, or because he just
like wasn't out. He got, so basically what happened was, so then people overheard him asking me to homecoming, and they were like, did you just ask Nick to homecoming? And then he immediately 180 was like, oh, like no, like it was a joke. And then I was like standing there like, oh. And then to make matters worse, on 2 separate occasions, he asked me to homecoming in front of people in a very big manner, like to just hit home that he was kidding the first time. So he then put on like a full performance,
tripled the bit.
Yeah, like tripled, like kept continuing and kept raising the stakes, like included more people involved, and like made like a
how
like it was like he like asked, like did like a thing like once in between breaks like of classes, and like had like a little poster, and it was like a whole thing, and I literally had to be like, no. Haha, isn't this so funny? Yeah. So then I was like, what the fuck? So that kind of pissed me off. And then this girl I was friends with, Camilla, we're not friends anymore.
That's my niece's name. It's my niece.
Your niece. Yeah.
Your fucking niece.
She stole my man. She was in love with him. She loved him down. She asked him to homecoming. Like she was like, she like wore the pants and was like, do you want to go to homecoming with me? And he was like, yeah, sure, I guess. And so they went to homecoming together. And then at homecoming, so before homecoming happened, all of my girls were like, girl, we're gonna throw you a little pity party, we're gonna all hang out, gonna like watch Titanic. It all circles. It all connects. We're gonna sit. We're all gonna get ice cream. We're just gonna sit and just like cry and watch the movie and just be like all in our feels because boys suck. And I was like, yeah, boys suck. And then homecoming happens, and
Clover.
And then Miss Camilla like goes with this man to this homecoming event, and he like barely talks to her, like barely dances with her, because mind you, he didn't want to go with her in the first place, but she was like obsessed with him down.
Oh my God.
And so then she got all pissed off. She then comes to our little pity party, hijacks it, makes the whole thing about her, cries the whole night being like, he like just wouldn't dance with me and like wouldn't talk to me. I was like, mama, cause he's gay.
That sucks.
Oh wow, that's horrible.
I mean, listen, like in that kind of scenario where like you can't necessarily like you can't fully reveal any of the reasons, because like obviously you can't just flat out be like, well, like
I know, but I wanted to be like, girl, he gay, like pick it up. He got super religious after this, by the way.
Oh no, is he married?
No, he's not married, but there was like a point in time where we all thought he was going to go join the priesthood. It was like that kind of serious, and then he didn't. And then yeah, he's an interesting person. But I would like when he would flirt with me, we would in the same gym class, and so we would like change into like our gym uniforms or whatever. And then before gym, like I would then walk to the other side where the urinals were, and I'd go piss, because like I would piss before class just so I wouldn't have to like leave in the middle of it. He would come up to the urinal right next to me, and famously I can't pee if someone's next to me at the urinal, but he would come up to me and just like start flirting with me while he pissed, and then like I would have to like hold it and like wait until he fucking left the bathroom and then piss. But then sometimes he would like keep flirting with me for really long, and then class would start, so then I'd be like, oh, I just have to hold it, I guess, and then I'd have to pee the
wait,
because he would flirt with me.
Do you want to talk about that?
My peeing issues?
Listen.
Oh, speaking of peeing issues, yesterday
oh okay, y'all are gonna gag.
Okay,
y'all
yesterday
are not townspeople.
Okay, for all the bitches with a piss kink, listen up.
Piss kink alert! This episode's for you.
So yesterday at work, I go into the men's bathroom and I go to pee because I had a full iced coffee, and then an entire Hydro flask of water from the moment when I clocked in at work to then the point when I peed, which was maybe like 3 hours into the shift. So mama, we hadn't peed in a while. It was time to open the floodgates. So we go to the bathroom. I go into the stall because I love a stall. I get pee shy. So if like, and it was a busy night. So I'm like, if someone comes in,
pee shy is an understatement.
If someone comes into the okay, for being completely honest, I've been doing a lot better. There have been a couple of times where I've pissed at the urinal while there are other people in the bathroom, and even next to me. I have to really focus on my phone and like read like an article while I do it, and like not pay attention that someone's next to me. So I pissed, and I pissed a lot. Okay, and so then I hear someone in the middle of my stream come into the men's bathroom and go to the urinal. So I finish, and then I walk out. He's like still peeing, and then I'm washing my hands. He finishes, comes next to me at the sink, and he goes, yo, that's the longest piss I've ever heard in my life. And I look at him. Man is in a nice suit.
Oh, he was cute.
He wasn't my type, but he looked like a finance bro.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't seem that drunk to me. So I like looked at him and I was like, oh, yeah. And then just go back to washing my hands, and he was like, no, but like seriously, you just kept going and going. And I was like, oh yeah, and I'm like trying to like end the conversation because I'm like, I don't want to talk to him. I'm like, what is he trying to do? Like, I don't know what he's trying to talk, like, leave me alone. So I'm drying my hands or whatever, and he's like following me out of the bathroom being like, yo, was that your first piss of the day? Did you just like break the seal or something? And I was like, yeah, we've been staying hydrated, and I'm like typing in the code to get into my little office or whatever, and he follows me out, and he's like right like so close to me and just like staring at me being like, wow, you pissed really loud. And I was like, I'm sorry, is he trying to fuck me? Is he trying to get me to piss on him or something? Like, what are we doing? It was so bizarre and so strange, and he did not seem that drunk. So I was like, what's happening? But it also didn't seem like he was trying to flirt with me, and it also didn't seem like he was trying to be funny. He just like genuinely was like, that's the longest piss I've ever heard in my life.
He didn't have an accent.
No, that was a character choice.
Yeah, you're making him sound like dumb, and you're choosing Southern accents. Wow, Nick doesn't hate y'all Southerners. Anyone in the South, he hates your ass.
I never said that it was dumb. Why would you say
You made him sound like Sandy from SpongeBob when she was pretending to be dumb.
But no. But who said that meant that she was dumb? That was you. You're projecting.
That was a whole bit. She was acting like she was dumb.
You're projecting that onto me.
Oh,
I don't.
no.
I rebuke it.
Listen.
But anyway, so
that guy has zero interest in you.
I know.
He was doing what like straight men do. They would rather talk about like, yo, that's the longest piss I ever heard, than be like, so how was your weekend? How was work?
But I'm also like, I was like, we were very different vibes. Like
of course, he was tall, suited, buttoned down.
I was wearing a bandana yesterday.
You were Rosie the Riveter, but gay.
I know. It was giving confusion.
You were Rose.
Yeah.
You were Rose the Riveter.
Yeah, very much that. So that was crazy, and so that was yesterday.
That was. I mean, if that had been me, I probably would have.
But yeah, so my piss issues. So, but then he would flirt with me crush from 8th grade.
I made a move on our coworker yesterday in a weird way.
Which coworker?
Yeah, because it was just
which coworker? Girl, why would you make a move? That's never gonna happen.
I know, but I'm always just, you know what I'm saying. Like the whole thing with me is like I'm always just forward. Like I don't mind whatever.
At all times.
So I wore a skirt yesterday, and a long skirt is winter time, but underneath pants it looked really stylish. I wore my Gucci jacket with it, like it was giving. And then I'm walking around, and mind you, this person's actually studying, or like he already graduated from like design school, so he's trying to like design, I believe, women's wear, not men's wear. Anyway,
kind of gay.
Design gay.
Not to like
title of it, design gay. And so I go up to like get like a little drinky drink, and then he's like typing at the service station and not looking at me. He's like, "I love your skirt," and I was like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Yeah, it looks really nice," and I'm just like, "You love what's underneath it more," and then he was like, and then I was like, walking away.
I know you were feeling your oats walking away from him.
I was like, you love us underneath.
You're like, his dick is rock hard right now, I bet.
Oh, girl. Yeah, design a tuxedo for that dick, bitch.
I
tuxedo dick.
What?
You know, like, design?
Mm-hmm.
He designs dick, rock hard, tuxedo. No,
I'm not following.
Too hard to critic.
No, it's a little complicated for my.
It's too complex.
It's a little too complex of a joke for me. I think for my simple brain to a little too much for me to understand.
Okay, so back to your peeing issues.
Well, no, I was just gonna say that just reminded me of last night when I was talking about my hairy butthole in front of him.
Oh, yeah, and of course.
And I was kind of drunk, too, so I was a little forward.
Yo, townspeople, let me tell you. If you ever see Nick at a bar or something and you want to be cool, friendly, or even flirty, and you want to buy Nick a drink, first of all, either do a rum and coke or a tequila soda. He will not drink anything else.
Whiskey
Coke. So,
wow.
Wrong. Sorry. Whiskey. I'm so sorry.
I can't drink rum anymore.
Whiskey Coke or tequila soda. But just know that after that one drink, well, this is not even a non-consent joke. I'm just saying, like, trying to be silly. So please
don't come for him.
Don't come for me. I'm just saying, like, you have a fair shot. Like, because
I'm easy as hell.
Miss Mama gets tipsy from one drink, and you could really go up to her and be like, "You look really cute today," and Nick would be like, "I'm marrying you." So
I'd be like, "Stop." No, because last night I had a couple of sips of a drink, and I literally I was tipsy down, and then same person was
which is so funny. Continue.
Was down in my little office with us, and we were just like all kind of chatting, and for some reason we were talking about, well, how did you remember how it came up? We were talking about just like shaving our holes or something.
Yeah, because we're always like talking about sex,
right?
So I always heighten the sex talk when there's like cute guys around that work with us, because I just want them to know that I'm fucking a slut. And
that you'll do it anywhere, anytime, anywhere,
exactly.
anywhere they want.
I want to make sure that they know that, like, I will do it. You know, like, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And so I think I don't know how it came up, but then like you were just like, oh, I started talking about shaving. And
and I was like, I don't do that anymore because I hate how it feels when it grows back. And then we're all just chatting about it.
Yeah, but then like, because you were facing me and I was facing out, so like to where he was standing.
I just ignored him the whole time. I didn't even address him.
No, of course, but. It was so funny because Nick was just like, I don't shave my butt. No, you were just like, don't shave, it's so hairy down there. And then I looked straight up at him and I was just like, oh no, mine is smooth as fuck. I'm like, I almost wanted to say like it's as smooth as a pussy, but like also pussies also have hair. Some girls, you know, like don't like to shave down there, and some guys like a full bush. So you never know. So it's like it's just a smooth hole.
So who did he react better to, the smooth or the hairy?
I don't know.
You didn't see the facial, any reaction and change in the face?
I mean, he was just like, "What do you mean?" Like he like leaned back and asked a question. I forgot what question it was. Also, this guy's hot, y'all. This guy's hot. He's tall, smooth skin.
He doesn't need the hype, though. He knows he's hot. That's the problem.
I know, but he's also. Yeah, I know. Oh, you know, it sounds like.
Why are we talking about him? Move on. To get into actually the real stuff. So, I have updates on deal.
Okay, now you are sure that you're going to continue telling us this, and I support. I think you should, but I'm just going to give you the last chance for you to make sure that you're going to tell this.
Well, I'm not gonna tell my side of the story.
Oh, great, I love it.
You know what I mean?
Gypsy Rose. He did not kill anybody.
No. Just did a few.
He did hire someone.
No.
That was a joke. No.
Girl, I've been talking about it for this long. I'm not gonna.
That's the thing, and I feel like the townspeople really deserve answers.
Right, and let's just say the GL Daddy story has come to a conclusion. So basically, on Sunday evening, I get a message from DL Daddy. Picture this. It's Sunday. I am at work, and I get a message. I get a message on Grindr from DL Daddy telling me that he's in the city and he's excited to see me. He has plans for the evening for dinner, and that he will be done at a certain time, and that he would like me to come over at like 9:30, 10, and I was like, well, I worked.
This is the pleasant version.
This is the pleasant version. I'm not trying to give up too many details away, just in case anyone connected could possibly know and hear. But basically, and so then I was like, well, I work till 10, so I'll let you know. It was a slow night. So I ended up getting out at 9, and he was like, perfect. And then I got to the hotel at like 9:30.
Yeah, you wrote runner down because I've seen you.
No, and I was out of there. I was out of there quick because he was like, he told me he was gonna smoke me out. He's like, well, meet me outside the hotel. We'll smoke a joint. We'll go back up. And I was like, perfect. The whole time, mind you, that whole day texting me, I can't wait to see you. I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you. I'm so like that whole is mine. Like blah blah blah. Like I can't. Like I've missed having sex with you. Blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, Danny, yeah. So then I was like, I wasn't even that horny. I was just kind of like, well, I haven't had sex since Thanksgiving.
You're trying to get back on it.
I was like, let's get back on it, you know. So then I go to the hotel. I told him the time that I was going to get there. I was like, I'll be here at 9:30. He said, great, I'll be outside. It's 9:30. He's not outside. So I message him and I say, hey, I'm outside. It's cold, okay? I'm standing outside this hotel in a very public area of the city. Okay, there's lots of
the most public area.
There's lots of foot traffic. There's lots of people out there. Mind you, there are also like valet people outside of the hotel just kind of like staring at me, looking at me weird because they're like, why is this dude just like standing outside across the street just like.
Well, you're just being paranoid on that one because there's so many people, no one's paying attention.
I'm sure, but they were like,
which leads to the
but I was like there for a while. Like he didn't come out for like a couple of minutes, and I kept like waiting and staring at the lobby, and I'm sure they're probably just like, why doesn't he just go in? But anyway, so then all of a sudden I see him come down to the lobby and through the glass doors motions for me to come inside, and I was like, oh, okay. So I go into the lobby, and he was like, it's too cold to smoke outside. He's like, we're just gonna go out to the room, and I was like, okay. And he was like, stand back a couple of feet.
Oh,
he's like,
I hate that.
He was like, don't stand too close, and I was like, oh, girl, there's no one else here, but like, okay. So we get into the elevator, and then he's like standing on the opposite end of the elevator. So we're on either side, and he's like, don't say anything until like, you know, we're up to the room. And I was like, okay, fine. But the way that the hotel was laid up is like you could have to take the elevator to a certain floor, and then you have to switch elevators to get to like the actual rooms. So we get up to like the main floor where like the help desk is and everything. And he like steps out and he's like, walk a few feet behind me, and he's like, don't say anything to me until we're like up in the room. And I was like, girl, you are not famous, you are not a celebrity, no one is gonna see you and tap a picture of the two of us and be like, oh my god, whatever.
Yeah, also 2 men can walk next to each other and no one's gonna instantly assume they're getting fucking breeding them.
No, exactly. Okay? And just like have a conversation like, girl, what?
It's like excuse me, I couldn't help but notice, are you breeding this guy?
Are you having raw sex with each other? Raw sex? And are you married with a family? Like, no. So then we're in the elevator going up to the actual room now, and then he was like, unbutton your coat. I want to see what you're wearing. And I was like, yeah, daddy. So then like I unbuttoned the coat in the elevator. He like sees my outfit and he's like, yeah, it's good. And I was like, We get into the room. We like start undressing or whatever. We just like start making out, and I'm like immediately horny. Then I was like, oh, it's on, babe. Like a bitch is on. He like bends me over, like onto like the like little nightstand, and he starts like I'm fully naked at this point, and he's spanking me. And then he like pulls his dick out, and I'm like, sucking his dick while he's spanking me and whatever. And then he's like, so like he was like kind of to the side, like so like I was bent like this. He was standing like right. Like to this part of me, and then
you sucking him off
like this. Like I turned my butt. Like I turned.
Oh,
like it was
wow,
it was like I'm flexible.
Damn, I don't think I can even do that.
I mean, it wasn't like it's not like the best angle to get work done, but like I can do it.
You were like, that's the position.
I was like, I mean, if this is where we're at, girl, okay, I'm clocking in. And so then we're doing that, and then he's like, oh, I just want you to suck my dick. So then he gets onto the bed. I'm sucking his dick. He's going crazy. I suck his dick for all of 2 minutes. Mind you, he was spanking my ass for like 2 minutes. I sucked his dick for maybe 2 minutes, and then he was like, I want to eat your hole. I said, great. He's going to town. He's the best ass eater I've ever had in my entire life. Like, hands down. I have never been, and hand to God, I have never been rock hard while getting fucked, or dare I say even had my ass eaten.
We've done the opposite, as we know.
Right. This man ate my ass. I was hard the whole time. That never happens to me.
So he reignited you.
Oh, no, he's good as well.
He resuscitated
no,
you.
he was, I know, and it's so funny because I don't know if anyone remembers from the episode where I talk about it for the first time, but he did refer to my hole as a unicorn hole. And he like saw it and he goes, there it is. The unicorn hole. And I was like, I like literally like face crack. I was like, yeah, there it is. And just put your face in it now and shut the fuck up. And the title of that unicorn. There it is. The unicorn hole. So then anyway, so he ate my ass for 2 minutes, and then he was like, you want this daddy dick? And I was like, obviously, girl. Obviously I want it. So then he like tries to put it in, and I was like, girl, you gotta get lube. It's like a little too dry. And he was like, okay. So he gets lube. He then puts... He was all ready for it, like whatever. So then he puts the lube in, lubes me up. He puts his dick in, it slides in. He slides it in so slowly, and as he's sliding it in, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? 2024 is the year where we're only having good sex. Okay, we left the bad sex in 2023. We're only having sex with people who like us and actually enjoy having sex with us. He puts it in. Immediately pulls out and was like, hold on, give me a second, I think I need you to suck my dick a little bit more. And I was like, oh, okay. He rolls onto his back, I'm sucking his dick, whatever. A minute in, he goes, actually, I think we just have to call it. And I was like, huh? And he was like, you know, I've just been like traveling all day, I'm just like so tired. He was like, I just, you know. And I was like, oh, okay, thinking like, you know, maybe we'll just take a little like 10-minute break, whatever, we'll just like relax, because like
whatever daddy needs.
Because last time we had sex, he's
older.
And he literally said, he's like, you know, because he's like, I am older. And I was like, no, I get that. I was like, this hasn't been the first time this has happened to me with someone before. So then
all your olds,
all my olds, my roster of old. But then, because last time we had sex, we would like take little breaks in between and just like chat and like just like cuddle and like whatever. Then we'd go back to like raw dogging it or whatever. And then he was like, I was, you know, like touching him and like rubbing his body and stuff. He goes, oh no, dude, you can just like, we're just like done. He's like, you can just stop. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, but how are you though? And then I was like, no. I was like, oh, I'm good. And he's like, oh, cool. Filled me in on like what he's been up to. But the thing that pissed me off, that like made me kind of upset, was then he had, up until he gotten, as you've all listened, as the townspeople know, he has been hitting my ass up pretty much every other day.
That's the thing.
And has been like, I can't wait to fuck you, whatever. And it's like, fine, I get it. Sometimes, you know, he's tired. These things happen. And then, but he he then would also sometimes try to like slut shame me. And be like, and I don't think it was direct, but I think he was, from my perspective, it seemed he was just trying to suss out like who else I'm fucking.
He was just being like a dominant. He was just trying to be a dom.
Yeah.
You know, being like, you can't, I don't like it when you blah, blah.
But he never said that flat out. He was just kind of like, he was like, well, you know, it's quality over quantity for me. You know, I prefer to keep I don't have that many sexual partners. I keep it pretty small, like whatever. And he's like, what about you? Like, you know, and it would keep being like, you fucking anybody new? And I'd be like, no, girl. And so then like, when he was I'm not gonna say that. But when he was in a different town last week, or it was like a week and a half ago now for work, and he was messaging me the whole time, and when he was trying to get me on cam and like try to like hook up or whatever, that whole time he reveals to me he was fucking some other twink multiple times over that week.
Not surprised.
And I was like, oh, and he was like, yeah, I met this really like cute boy, and we fucked the whole week. And I was like, oh, happy for you, okay. And then all of a sudden he goes, I got a pretty early day tomorrow. And I was like,
you knew you had this early day. You knew I left work.
No, and then he like he was like, I'm sorry. He's like, I probably should have like invited you on a different day. And I was like, whatever, it happens. I was like, he was probably gonna invite me over again. Like, it's whatever. So then I'm like getting up, doesn't offer to buy me an Uber.
Trash.
And I was like, and he's like, I have an early day tomorrow. And I was like, me too. What time do you have to be up? And he's like, well, I have a meeting at 9:30. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I have to be at work at 8 a.m. And he was like, oh, that sucks. And I was like trying to be like, yeah, and I'm really far from where I live right now, and it's late at night.
Yeah.
I was like, it would be much faster for me to get home if I had a car. If someone would get me home. No, didn't offer anything. I was kind of pissed off. And then the nail in the coffin, as I'm getting dressed, he goes, well, I'm only here until the end of the week, so if I don't see you before I go, I guess I'll see you on the next trip. Doesn't even invite me over to come later for a different day that week. Doesn't even offer. And I'm standing there like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, really? Oh, he's trash. He's trash. He's trash. And then I was like, okay, whatever. We're done. I'm never going to see this man again. Then he hits me up the next day and is like, you know what? I don't know what's going on with me. I'm just like been so unhorny this trip.
Then
and I was
don't
like,
bait me.
No, like literally. I was like, girl, then why are you having me come over? Meanwhile, the whole time I'm on my way over there, you're like, I can't wait to fuck you. Also, he's like, can you leave work early? He's like, oh, like try to leave work early. Like I need you so bad. Oh, clearly he didn't. Clearly he didn't need me that bad. I'm like, what happened? Not that I care, because he's a loser.
Well, yeah, who's cheating on his wife.
Right, we can't forget that.
No, and the children.
The children, right, the children.
Who may live in close proximity.
Right, we're not gonna air that information out though.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that, like, hey.
But anyway, so
if you're gonna play with fire, play well.
Anyway, I had that was the wake up call that I needed to be like, oh, you know what? I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Actually, this is God, the universe, someone just being like, hey, bitch. Maybe don't home wreck. And I'm like, you're right, actually. I think you ain't needed that. Which probably a lot of people are listening to this being like, wow. This fucking selfish twink.
It's okay. I mean, in your position as someone who hasn't had sex in months.
And I still haven't, because that doesn't count, because he barely put it in. It didn't count.
But it revived you.
Not really. I mean, it did for that moment in time, and I was like, oh, we're gonna fuck. But now I'm just like...
There's a book called Surviving Intimate Terrorism.
This is what that is. He's a terrorist.
Yours is like reviving the unicorn hole.
No, every single man I've had sex with is a sexual terrorist.
Yeah.
Title of that. Sexual terrorists.
Sexual terrorists. I'm so sorry. Well, no one's Well, I guess I'm terrorizing them, maybe.
Sure.
Maybe I'm the terrorist.
Wait, I forgot we have to talk about the drag queen. The drag queen.
Wait, okay. Well, we're going to get to the drag queen. Oh, my God. Wait. What a day.
We have so much to talk about.
There's a lot going, but we can go over today because I have to start cooking.
Okay, well, can we talk about the drag queen quick, and then we'll do the little suggestion from the townspeople?
Yeah, well, by the way, thanks for sending suggestions. Again, if you're listening to this and you're like about to pull up to your job, like many of you are, or like commuting or whatever, if you haven't done so, before you pause, go on there, leave us a review, a quick review on Apple Podcast, or leave us a rating on Spotify. And if you're watching right now, again, a little comment, you know, people have been loving Nick's hair, people have been loving my outfits.
Thank you for the comments. Actually, no, thank you for the comments on the hair. Actually, that I needed to hear that. I needed to hear those. Which I will say, words of affirmation.
The bangs are a look, and lately Miss Nick has been doing bangs, has been doing a lot of blouse moments. So I'm loving the style journey that Nick's finally on. Not tonight.
But okay, we're giving model off duty tonight.
It's okay. It's okay.
We're giving Bella Hadid, just like so, being casual.
Keep pulling that up, because again, we're gonna keep teasing this. You know. Let's get to 1,000 as soon as possible, because we're gonna fucking like step things up. But anyway, so we went out, and I posted a photo
on
of
Friday.
the night that we went out last time that we recorded. Went out for Drag Race, as the girls do. P.S. a lot great. Drag Race is giving.
The season is good.
Really fun season. And we go to this place called, I guess I can shout it out because we're not going to say who was performing. Not that I remember, to be honest.
I remember.
Do?
I vividly remember.
But we went to a place called the Gram in Bushwick to meet Spencer and Tommy. If you're listening, love the girls. Love the girls.
And Robert.
And Robert joined, of course.
We can't forget.
We forget Robert.
Wow, you're a bad friend.
No. And then,
I'm a good one.
Shut up. And then, so met you, recorded, then went there. We had never been there, so we're kind of like assessing the situation. There was a special, which Nick loves a special.
It was happy hour.
It was $5 Cosmos and $6 tequila Collins.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, the Cosmo was a little bit too sweet for me because I'm on my freaking nuts sugary drink.
As we drink these,
because I wanted. Listen, I love you so much, but I was about to have straight up Moscato, okay? And so we spruced it up. We made it elegant.
Yeah.
Although, listen, girl, maybe like in an hour and a half, we're gonna be
doing
chugging down
the No, and trust and believe we probably will.
Trust
I'm gonna get
and
drunk
believe
tonight.
we're gonna be, just because we're staying in doesn't mean we're not gonna get turned out.
I kind of want to suck a dick tonight.
Maybe there's plenty.
The grid's not really cute right now.
Well, they all love me.
That does nothing for me.
It's my territory. I'm the Griselda of dicks. Title of F. So many options to this week, which I'll talk about that later. Anyway,
so there was deals. We were watching the episode.
The one thing worth noting for here though is that I have to set the scene just of what the vibe was, because it's a big part of this.
Sure.
The vibe was, listen, not to drag her, but like it seemed like a very, very much Bushwick drag, but not in the best way. Like
no.
I'm gonna say
I'm gonna defend her. I'm
not saying anything bad. I'm just saying it was giving very like, like
it's giving
beginner drag, which is why we were there to support. The reason why we were there is we were there to support the drag queen. So I'm down to support, but I can also objectively say that. What was she the most experienced, or whatever? Maybe not, but that's still okay. We can still support.
There were technical
both things can exist.
Sure, in her defense, there were technical difficulties, and there also was limited. There was limited performance space. The stage was very small.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It wasn't even a stage. It was just this back patio at this
sure,
bar.
And you'll get the idea of what happened. You'll get an idea of the performer when we explain the story a little bit more.
Well, I mean, we're getting there, but just to lay it out. It's just like already from the get-go there wasn't that many people there, so it literally was just us girlies, the ones we just named, and Nick and I were there. We're the only ones there with like two more,
and there were a couple more that came in later
came, so like halfway through the episode more came, which was good, but from the get-go it really was just us. And it was giving like, all right, we gotta make sure that we're like, like laughing at everything and clapping at everything, because it's a small house, so we don't want to make her feel bad.
Sure, of course, because you obviously, as an audience member, it's your job. Also, you have a job to do as well. You have to be there to support the performer.
Yeah, and if you're going to a drag show in whatever town you're from and you're not prepared, by that I mean you don't have singles to tip the girls, or you don't ask for their Venmo, you're not doing it right. If you're going to a drag performance anywhere, they're performing for you just like a server, serves it. You cannot just go and not tip.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, some of these hoes be going to these bars and not tipping and then talking through the entire performance.
No, that is so annoying.
I'm like, go to the end of the bar, go to where the performances are not happening, because we're here to watch. And support.
We're watching a show. So it was.
Speaking of.
So the show starts. So we're watching the episode of Drag Race, and so in between each commercial break, the drag queen would then take that as an opportunity to perform a little set, and we're like, lovely, perfect. She does her first number. It's she does a good job. It's great. Whatever, it happens. We then continue on the episode, and then I think it's like the second commercial break. Yeah. It happens. Do you remember what the song? Do you remember what the song was?
No.
I don't remember what the song was either. No. But basically, so the stage that she was performing on is in the back kind of like corner of the room. It's very small.
It's not a stage. It really was just a platform.
Like an elevated platform, whatever. But it's just like, just picture it.
It's a crowded space, a lot of tables.
There's a big like projection screen pulled down on the back wall. There's little mini tables in the front. I'm sitting...
empty. besides the one that Nick was
I was sitting at a table. I was sitting front row. It was just me at the table, and I had my drink on it. And she started her number, and she was doing it. She was very funny. Her comedic timing was impeccable.
I will not say that.
I think there were moments that I was like, oh, she's giving. She had the moments where she was, I thought, very comedically
I think
engaging.
she had moments in which she performed something that she knew by memory from the song or whatever. I'm so unfortunately I just don't think she was a good drag queen. I'm sorry.
I mean, obviously she. I mean, there's work to be done.
Did I still fucking tip? You bet your ass I
right,
did.
Of course.
Did I still yell and cheers? Of course. So I'm allowed to say that.
Well, I'm a lover, not a hater. So basically, at one point in the song, which is like in the first, I think after the first chorus or during the first chorus, there was a moment in which the beat dropped, and she did this bit in which she did the sign of the cross and acted as if she was going to jump off the little platform and like do a trick of some kind.
Of course. And to add on to that really quickly, on the previous number, she had already went towards the bar area of the bar, not the little back patio, and she had already done this thing where like she like literally jumped and did a rolly thing. Like she
yes.
just like
she was acrobatic for sure.
So not necessarily you weren't like, oh, she's a gymnast. It was more like she was just kind of just flailing around.
She was, but she did it better than she had experience.
Landing.
She had experience doing that.
Tumbling.
Yes,
and loosely.
Yes, she's either taking like a stage combat class in theater, like she knows how to do a front roll for sure. She's
that takes me out. Yes, you know that.
Yes, no, 100%. She took a theater class of some kind. And so then in this number, she does the little fake out, does the sign of the cross. She then acts as she's gonna do this trick, and then she fakes out. She just kind of stands there, does this whole little bit,
like the Monet style.
Yeah, and then we all kind of like giggle, laugh, like ah ha ha ha. There's that moment comes back near the end of the song in which the beat's dropping and she's gearing up again. She's doing the sign of the cross.
And the gearing was gearing.
Oh, like, it was giving as if she's like about to give it her all 110%. And I'm sitting there again, front row at this little table, my drink, my full tequila drink. Just
the only one, again, I have to reiterate, the only one sitting by the corner of this table. No other tables had people except further away from me. There were two people, and I counted because I remember. I'm seeing it right now. You're the only person.
I was fully left alone up front by my lonesome, and she jumps into the air, lays out her body to do a dip. She lands on my table. The table immediately flips on its side. There's an empty glass from the drink that I just finished, and then the full tequila drink slam on the ground. Both glasses shatter. She's just laying there covered in tequila and broken glass, just laying there kind of like a dead body, and I did not move. A single movement did not occur in my body. I stayed completely still the whole time as it happened. I was in complete and utter shock. And then she slowly rises, and before she can really say anything, you just hear someone go, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And she doesn't really address them, and she just kind of looks at me and she goes, "I'll replace your drink." And I was like, I literally immediately went, "You don't have to do that. You're totally fine, girl." And she goes, "No, it's fine." And then she looks at her legs and she goes, "Am I bleeding?" And at first everyone was like, "No, I think
you're good." The song's still finishing, by the way.
The song is still playing. Like the number is not supposed to be done. And she's like, "Am I bleeding?" And she's wearing these bedazzled fishnets. And then we were like, "Oh, I don't think so." She steps out of the room to go grab a broom because the bar's busy and there was
and then the song had ended by then.
The song had ended by then, and the show was like, she was like,
no, mind you, at this point from the back, because we were all looking towards Nick, so we saw it in slow motion. That y'all, when I'm telling you, whatever you think, just make it more dramatic times 1. Times
10
times 2 at least, if not 5 to 10, because table went down. We felt the earth shake.
It was crazy.
It was so crazy. And then we were like, what? And then Nick did not move an ounce. It was literally like Armageddon was happening around Nick, and Nick just literally.
Well, because the thought that was going through my brain in that moment was, do not react, because I know in this moment she wants to kill herself. And so if I look as if I'm mortified for her, with secondhand embarrassment, it will certainly make her experience much worse. So I was like, just remain calm, keep it together. And so I was like, no, girl, it's fine. She then steps out to go grab a broom while the episode continues. She's sweeping up glass, then goes and sits down, and she's like pulling at her fishnets because her legs are cut up and bleeding, and she's like trying to dab them with like a napkin. And there's multiple people are just going, girl, take the tights off. Just take them off. And she like wouldn't. She just was kept like trying to pull up the fishnet and like dab the blood. Yeah. And then it was the recovery, I'm not saying like it was good. The recovery was like, okay, if I were in a situation, of course I would also want to act. I would try to retain to any piece of dignity and just like get up, whatever. And she's like, okay, enjoy the rest of the episode. I'll be back for maybe not the next commercial break, but maybe the one after. Yeah. And then she stuck out.
And then like cleaned, and then like you got the drink after like 30 minutes, because mind you, again, at Miss Graham, the Miss Graham bartender was taking his sweet ass time.
Well, it was busy, and there was,
no, when we were there, it wasn't busy, and the drinks that we ordered still 2-3 million hours. But again, whatever. Maybe not. Maybe she was a sub. Maybe she was just stepping in for somebody else.
Maybe she's overwhelmed.
But
she was very sweet, though. She was very lovely. Had a conversation.
Very lovely, but very slow. Anyway, so comes back on and just sits there to watch, and like this person's just like dying of embarrassment, right? But then like at that point, it's just like you can't keep downplaying that either. Like I would just be like, okay, clearly I'm physically hurt, so like don't keep your tights on, because then like it was just like in Black Swan when like when you can see that the blood just keeps spreading around her freaking abdomen. It was like that with the tights.
Yeah, but it just kept pooling.
It just kept absorbing the rest of the blood. So just take it off.
No, yeah.
Not that the tights were any expensive, I would venture out and say.
Wow. So okay, drag her.
So I'm just saying, just take them off. You already ripped them. So whatever they were, however much they cost, you can repair them. So I would just take them off and put a Band-Aid on,
Yeah, but girl, it was, my heart went out to her. It really did.
Right now, I mean, all of those embarrassing things, whether you're a performer or not, it happens, and you have to take it in stride. Obviously, she wasn't intending to do any of that. Was that the best choice to do that dip?
Could you imagine that she planned that whole thing? She's like, it went perfectly.
It went so wow.
I'd be like, yeah, girl.
Yeah, but I'm like, out of all places to dip, that wasn't the best corridor to do it.
No, there was very limited space. That's why as soon as she jumped into before she even jumped in the air, I was thinking to myself, she better not try to do a death drop, because I was like, where's she gonna go? I was like, there's no room on the floor. Sure enough, she laid it on my table. That's what happened.
We all just could not stop talking about it. We were just like,
well, and then after the episode, I was like, I have to go home. I like literally was like, peace.
It wasn't because of that, girl. Because like halfway through the episode, you kept coming up to me from behind and whispering to me, I'm so drunk right now. I am so fucking drunk. And I was like, girl.
I was also exhausted. I was so tired. I was like, I have to go home. And then you had a lovely sexual encounter after.
Oh my God, I did. Have I heard from him? No.
Well, he's a bottom, so.
I know he was a bottom. Oh my God, you just spilled it.
Oh. Cut it, redo it.
You have to do that. No, it's okay, you have to redo it. I guess to go back, and maybe that can be like my story actually. Well, we have to wrap up soon. But quick story, like after
okay, keep talking, because I'll look at the suggestion.
No, I want to tell you.
Oh my God. Well, Thomas said something. Let me see what he said.
What did you say?
Well, let me see
we had gone there and had already been seeing this guy who, by the way, not to play into stereotypes either, like was not giving bottom. This guy had like a
he was giving Bushwick bottom.
He was giving Bushwick verse at the very least to me. And by the way, Nick, let me tell you, your drunk ass told me the complete opposite. Your drunk ass that was supposed to be waiting for the bus and ended up walking home told me, oh no, he was giving Bushwick verse at the very most. That's what
I said, at the very most. Is that not what I said?
No, we were discussing this because you had already told me you were like, he wasn't giving bottom. We talked about this. You're backtracking. Your Honor, you're backtracking.
Well, now that I have time to think about it, I'm like, wait, it actually makes so much sense that he's a bottom.
No, he wasn't giving bottom. And like, again, it's not like you have to give bottom, but like just visually, he was wearing workout pants, workout underwear, and then literally like one of those Under Armour like body tight like like shirts. So he was giving like literal like the guys that play football at my high school just a whole Under Armour ensemble and some sandals or like whatever sneakers. Like
it's the bottoms who have to queerify that straight outfit.
But he wasn't even giving that. He like had like the like not even fully kept beard. He had a beard that was a little bit like disheveled, but like in a hot way. And like whatever, it doesn't really fucking matter. And what matters is like he was cute, and like we when we were closing out, I was already talking to him and flirting, of course, because I'm a fucking go-getter. You're welcome. I was like, oh my God, well, we were talking about something silly, and then we all knew we were going to go to Metro. And so I was like, well, I guess you're going to have to tell me that story on Metro then. And he was like, oh yeah? And I was like, yeah. So he just walked away. And then your ass stayed back there for like 30 more minutes because you couldn't close out your tab.
And then he had
took forever.
And then he struck up a conversation with me, and we had a nice little chat. And I was like, okay, he seems interesting.
Yeah. So then we went to Metro. We were talking. I was like flirting with him. And then like I looked at him across the room because we had a big group at that point, so like we were kind of like separated. And then I looked across, and then like was staring at him, and then he looked at me. He like gave me one of these like you know. And then I was like, okay. And then he came over. We were talking. From that moment on, started making out. Sat by like anyone who's been to Metro. That middle space between the patio and the inside that's kind of covered where like those random stools are, like that's where we sat down, was holding my hand. His whole demeanor once again was giving me top vibes, was giving me like I want to fuck you. Started kissing, we're dancing, but people started leaving. By then Robert had already left and Spencer and Tommy left, so we were just left together with his friends. And then and then at one point I was like discussing, we were talking about where he lived, and he was like, well, I don't live too far from here. And I was like, oh really? Well, because we could go to your place. And he was like, oh yeah. And I was like, well, and then I'm trying to be funny as always, and I was like, well, listen, before we go anywhere, I have to tell you something. And he's like, oh no. I always make it really dramatic. I'm like, I have to tell you something. It's something you need to know. And he's like, oh no. And I'm like, this might be a deal breaker for you. He's like, just tell me. And I'm like, I'm a bottom. So
he starts crying.
And then it was so funny because I was expecting it to be like, oh, totally fine. Like I was expecting it to be like a funny moment. But then he goes like, oh, I'm a bottom too. And I literally almost started crying. I was like, not this. And then I literally I stood up and I was like, great. What else could be my luck? But then ultimately kept making out. He was like, I mean, I've done it before, but like I typically just bottom, but you know, like I've topped before. And I was like, okay. I just took that and I was like, okay. So then we went to go dance, and then we got frisky, and then I didn't even tell this to Nick until later, but like I had no idea the Metro had like they built like a makeshift dark room in the front of the bar, and we hadn't clocked it. And then I realized that they had opened this like makeshift dark room, and I was already putting my hand on his dick that was fully hard, by the way, on the dance floor. I was like really making him hard. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna turn another one. Oh my God. So then we just went into the dark room and just had fun. It was fun. So I was like, look at me, I'm so talented. And then after the deed was done, more people came in. We were the very first people in the dark room, because sometimes you gotta christen it. Sometimes you gotta be the pioneer and trailblazer who is the first in the fucking dark room, and that was me.
Exactly.
And that was me on my knees, leaning on the pool table, sucking some cock like a true pioneer woman. Then he took my number. I texted him, never heard back.
Ain't that how it goes?
Stalked the Instagram because I have the full name, can't find him. So
gave you a fake name.
I don't know. Who knows? But that was our weekend, and that's the developments. Before we go into our Pioneer and Trailblazer, though, thanks for the suggestions again. I'm really liking this. The more I talk about it, the more suggestions we get from the townspeople. If you want a shout out, just tell us where you're listening from, where you're watching from. Tell us your situation. We've gotten some good people from like different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Not even being like facetious, like truly.
Go us.
Fun. Go people from the world.
Yes, come on, townspeople.
Come on, townspeople. So this Towns Hall topic suggestion comes from Errol from Gainesville, Florida. Give it up to Florida.
Come on, Florida.
Okay. Person sent a lot of suggestions, but I'm gonna pick this one that I think is really cool, and it could be really quick. Okay. Kink at Pride. Some people think the furries and the pup play is too much for public city prides, especially those with potential for younger viewers. Should they stick to Bear Week, Leather Celebration, Folsom, where public sex is a little bit more accepted? Is being controversial part of performing queerness? Is performing queerness something that should be visible and challenging, or should we play a certain level of moderation so that we don't justify hateful bigots so they can go see those perverts? It's a very interesting topic.
Girl, this is not a quick one.
It is, because ultimately it just goes down to like living your truth plus to me, so I guess this is my answer, like living your truth but also sticking to what is like societally ethical. Because if we're gonna be talking about like the whole like displaying sex in public, like we're not letting, I mean, like straight people are not just like flat out having sex in public. So we have to hold those things to the same standard, to where like there are certain places like at Folsom, they're not just having sex like while the kids are walking through the parade. Like, and I'm sorry, I'm mixing the two. At Folsom, there are tents in which people are having the sex. Yeah, do you see some dicks out around? Yes, from what I know, there's no kids allowed at Folsom, first off. But the sex is happening at tents for the most part. Same thing with Pride. Like, no one's having sex out of the parades, but there's definitely a lot of sex happening at the bars and clubs in which, like, minors aren't allowed. So in that sense, I'm like, Pride and your sexuality should be all about you. Go fucking get furried out by a furry, and like go get pumped out. Get furried out. But you know, like it's all within a setting. Like the Pride Parade shouldn't be a place for you to be like fucking each other. But that being said, you know, like the leather community and that community is a part of queerness. So like as long as they're not like fucking each other, they should be free to walk around the parade in their leather fit.
Sure. I mean, I guess like my stance is pretty much similar. Like it has a time and place, and I think like in environments where the age restrictions are very clear, like for example, like Metro that you were just at, they have a dark room that's makeshift or whatever now, and that's having like a public sexual encounter. You know what I mean? And that should be celebrated. And like if that's how one embodies their sexuality and
within a safe queer space.
Yeah, within a safe queer space. And I think like there's also the understanding that like these outdoor events and things are supposed to be like safe queer spaces, but also they're open to like any and everyone also at the same time. So like Pride parades, yes, you have people of all ages, people of all backgrounds, sexualities and whatever there. And I think some people even within the community aren't comfortable with certain, like even the adults aren't comfortable with like public sex and things. And so I think like but then that gets into the question of like, but then having like designated areas and putting all those people in one place and like blah blah blah. Like it's very nuanced, but I agree with what you're saying, and I think it's important that if that's how you.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, it also goes down to like, you know, in some towns, just even having a parade is a big deal.
Sure.
Like their government and local officials are just like, no, they're deviants and whatever. And in that case, it's really good for you to stand up and like be proud. And, you know, just, you know, if you feel comfortable, join the parades. If you don't. But it really just comes down to like comfort level and just having the freedom to express yourself in any given space.
I think just like read the room,
because ultimately whether it's a parade or the 4th of July march, like you're not just gonna go out there and start fucking or whipping your dick out, you know,
right?
It's like read the room. If it's the middle of the day, there's a parade, like if you want to do that, do it privately, right? Like,
sure. Or there are places that you can go to that like
cruising spots or whatever,
cruising
you know,
spots and like that you can go off to that are like hidden, that if you want to have an audience you can certainly have one. They can follow you, they can come and watch you, but then the rest of the public I think doesn't have to, because as soon as you start having sex in public, that you can't really ask for people's permission whether or not to participate.
Of course, because then they're just there.
They're just there. So and I think one of the most important things about sex is consent.
Yes.
And so a lot of people are not consenting to that experience, which, you know, there's a lot of different, you know what I mean? Nuanced, whatever. But But yeah, I think it's just like doing it, making sure that everyone is having a safe experience and that everyone who's participating that's involved wants to participate and is involved, and then those who don't want to don't have to be.
Yeah. And you know what? Equating somebody ultimately who's like a drag queen who's, you know, doing a drag artistry, someone who's in a full leather fit, in a kink leather fit that's non-sexually explicit, because sexual explicit things across the board are not allowed in public, right? So like no one's just like showing their dick out, and some women are feeling empowered to show their tits out because of censorship issues and just feminism, which I stand by, and I don't believe that
free the nip.
So in that sense, free it. You know, anyone, kids or whatnot, should be able to see a nipple or a breast out in a parade and be like, that's just a natural body part from a woman. So that's that. But you know, it's like whether it's a drag queen or a leather or a furry person, all of those people can exist within a community and walk around the street as long as they're not doing anything that's illicit, you know, or whatever. It's just like when you wear something daring, or like when like Kylie Jenner wears like a fucking literally just naked, just a matched dress and fully naked, and they're like, oh, that's fashion. But like when like a guy's walking around the parade in just like a full leather kink play gear, they're like, oh, that's immoral, that's crazy. It's just
there's also it's like context too of like where they're at and everything. But it's nuanced, and I think we agree.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Pioneer Trailblazer.
Really quickly, my pioneer is Griselda. Sofia Vergara. If you haven't seen it on Netflix, binge it. I binged it. Sofia Vergara. This is the start of my Emmy campaign for her. Incredible work. So proud, because, you know, as a fellow hot person who has struggled in being typecast, sometimes you really have to follow your gut and just do what your gut tells you, and fight haters and fuck the haters, and just do the work that you think is gonna, you know, be transcendent for you. And she slayed, ate the house down on this role. Watch it on Netflix. It's really good.
Yay. My trailblazer for the week is gonna be Lisa Hochstein from The Real Housewives of Miami.
Oh, God.
I just watched the latest episode today before I got here, and if you're not watching The Real Housewives of Miami, you are missing out, because Mama the drama is insane. Lisa Hochstein, for those who don't know, quick brush up, her husband is fully like divorcing her like on camera in front of like all of these like millions of people, and just like a really messy divorce, and like he fully left her for a younger woman, and like is basically just like trying to control her still, and like whatever. It's crazy. But like, so her life is fully falling apart, and you're watching this woman just like fully unravel, and they're on their trip in Mexico currently, and she snaps. She really snaps, and it's good TV. My heart goes out to her. Obviously, I do think she's probably a bad person in real life, but my heart does go out to her for the struggle that she's going through, and also because of her children. She's really, you know, heartbroken over them, but she's kind of like my trailblazer for the week. I love her down.
We love you all for listening and watching.
Thanks.
Yay, keep doing the things that we already told you, please, to help us out. It really, really helps. Keep sending your suggestions at Pioneers and Trailblazers on Instagram, at Pioneers and Trailblazers on TikTok. We're trying to get better at posting videos on both of those. That will help you have something to share. That was funny. But we're gonna, you know, be posting stuff. Yeah, and then you can follow Nick.
Nicholas.Rose on Instagram, clownfacebinch on TikTok, and clownfacebitch on Twitter/X.
Yay, and I'm at Hey Peru on Instagram, at Hey Peru on TikTok. I don't support X, also because I was permanently suspended. Yay. And then we'll be back next week. Yay!
Yay! Bye!